Well, here now, Missouri Attorney General Eric Schmitt, who sent a letter to Attorney General Merrick Garland denouncing the move as, quote, an unconstitutional expansion of federal power. Attorney General, thank you for being with us today. This is an outrageous story. Talk about the case you make in your letter to Attorney General Merrick Garland.
Well, first of all, this is incredibly dangerous and un-American. The idea that the President of the United States would ask the Attorney General and have the Attorney General weaponize the Department of Justice and the FBI to go after parents who are showing up to a public forum, a public meeting at a school district and talking to a school board they elected with their tax dollars funding the school system, right? To raise concerns about critical race theory and teaching our kids to despise America, to raise concerns about the forced masking of 5-year-olds in our schools. The parents are right to have concerns about this, but this should be protected by the First Amendment, not, criminalized dissent by the Justice Department. So we wrote a letter yesterday raising 3 points. One, there's no jurisdiction for the feds here at all. There's no interstate commerce. There's no jurisdiction for the Department of Justice to be doing any of this. Second of all, the parents are right to be concerned about these issues. And third of all, this can have a chilling effect on free speech. Parents showing up at these meetings who are concerned, who are exercising their First Amendment rights, and I think that's the point. It's meant to intimidate, and I don't think people have had enough of this stuff. They're showing up, and they're raising their concerns. This is a very American concept and should be protected, not criminalized.
I've got friends at the local level back in Minnesota. I've talked to people in other states who are leading these efforts with their school board to try to navigate issues that parents care about. They're sitting here today looking at this and saying, so now I'm staring down the barrel of the Department of Justice. What can parents do to push back? You wrote a letter, but Attorney General Merrick Garland could just toss that in the trash and say thanks, but no thanks. What actually can happen at the local level here to push back on this?
Well, first of all, they don't have jurisdiction. I think that's an important point. But I think it's important for families and parents to continue to show up and let their voices be heard. Look, in Missouri, I have filed a number of lawsuits against St. Louis County, St. Louis City, Kansas City for these, forced masking policies, and we're winning. We filed lawsuits against school districts for the forced masking of our kids. We're continuing that fight. But I've been encouraged. There are people that haven't showed up to these meetings before who are letting their voices be heard, and I think that needs to continue. And I think what's happening right now is the left is shocked that people are objecting to these radical ideas that they're moving through these school boards and through these local governments, and people are showing up raising their objections, and rightfully so, and they want to quell that speech. They want to suppress that speech. They want to criminalize dissent, and that is very un-American, and I think everybody ought to be very concerned about this.
Speech, by the way, from parents who are not necessarily political on a lot of other issues. They care about schools. They might be in the center. They might be in the right. They might have been in the left historically, but they care about these issues. All of this was started with this letter from the National School Board Association, which, as I understand it, is actually funded through taxpayer dollars that funnel up from local school districts. Why are taxpayers paying for an organization that's denouncing parents as domestic terrorists?
They shouldn't. And by the way, it was also the teachers' unions that got the CDC to move their recommendations on masking, even though there's no science behind it. So, these sort of entrenched establishment education groups who don't have the kids' interests at heart here. It's about power. They don't like that their power is being questioned. It's why you see the forced masking of 5-year-olds. This isn't about science. It's also, not about any of these issues. They have an agenda. They're moving forward. They don't like that people are standing up, and people are rightfully standing up. And now you've got the full force of the federal government under Joe Biden seeking to suppress that speech. It's wrong. It's very un-American. We need to fight back. And people need to let their voices be heard. I don't think this should be a discouragement. I think people ought to continue to show up and let the school boards know, let the city councils know how they feel about things. This is what we're supposed to be doing in the town square.
Attorney General, what's your next move? You wrote the letter. What comes next?
Well, we're going to continue to fight back against tyranny at all levels, whether it's the federal government with a forced, vaccination mandate, which is coming. We're going to file a lawsuit on that. We've taken Joe Biden to court on the overreach at the federal level and a number of different aspects of what he's done under his presidency. We're also suing local jurisdictions who have gotten a taste of power that they got about a year ago. They never want to let go of it. These sort of petty tyrants at the local level, we're going to continue to sue them. This is a broader issue about who we are as a country, who we're going to be. We've been the freest country in the history of the world, and we need to make sure that we fight to maintain that.
just keep showing up. Attorney General Eric Schmitt, thanks so much for your time today.